Review.
Every now and then, rugby fans crawl onto the rooftops and howl into the darkness at the lack of video games for their sporting preference. Darts fans get PDC World Championship darts, soccer fans have the annual choice between FIFA or Pro Evo, but rugby fans are left scuffing their boots playing the releases of yesteryear. Rugby 08 for the PlayStation 2 was the sport's last outing, and while this marks its debut on current generation consoles, Rugby World Cup 2011 is a poor game whose hopeful swan dive towards the goal line lands short and face first in the grass. This is gaming Swiss cheese. While the official Rugby World Cup 2011 logo appear on the box and across menus alongside the iconic World in Union tune, only around half of the international teams included are officially represented in the game. Australia and New Zealand, the two top sides, and one of which is this year's host nation, are present, but not in any authorised capacity. There are no Tri-Nations, Six Nations or 7 World Series tournaments to be found here, replaced instead with a forgettable goal-kicking mode. Regardless of which of the handful of game modes you decide to take on, you'll fall victim to the inconsistent artificial intelligence. On easy, you can run straight through holes in the opposition's defensive line, run parallel to the other team without them tackling, and watch as they forget what they were doing and give up chases early. Teams do summon some enthusiasm on the way to the grand final, but expect a mostly free run for the silverware. At hard, you get more of a challenge with opposition players running and lunging at you from a distance like over-caffeinated super cats as you clear from the ruck and smother you before you can offload the ball after winning a line-out. Even when outnumbered, the AI never attempts to hold you up in goal as you crash across the line. Fullbacks can be danced around with late changes in direction, and once you've broken through, the opposing team follows you around like a pack of stray dogs chasing cars made out of steak. Controls are complex and poorly handled, shoulder buttons take care of left and right passes, and you get differing functions depending on whether you're attacking or defending. Once a player has been tackled, you need to quickly tap either the A or X button, depending on platform, to fill a power meter, with the fastest fingers gaining possession. The offensive team gets an advantage retaining the ball, but the mashing minigame can take a moment to begin and is mapped to exactly the same face buttons used for offloading passes, kicking and giving your tackles a bit of oomph in defense. The result is spilt possession, accidental kicks and penalties for rough play. There are no tutorials here to explain what to press and when. Non-sport followers will have a tough time with no explanation of some of the more esoteric rules, and video replays aren't available for penalties. Hooking in scrums is a mystery, field goals are trial and error, and lineouts feel like rolling the dice as you guess short, mid or long range throws. Last year's 2010 FIFA World Cup South Africa proved that a game built around a single event doesn't need to come at the sacrifice of innovation. Like FIFA World Cup Edition, Rugby World Cup 2011 skips domestic club teams to focus on international squads. Its narrow appeal could be forgiven if the bulk of the sides were faithful and gameplay compelling, but this simply isn't the case. Many of the 20 teams included are made up of fake players, and once you've cleared full tournament mode, taken your team to victory and raised the cup, there's only one-off small series friendly matches to take on. You can sim matches in international tournament mode, but team management fans will be sorely disappointed. Animations are reasonable, small touches like warm-ups as players take to the field and follow-throughs on conversion kicks and spear tackles help add to the realism. Audio commentary is available but isn't always in sync with what's happening on the field and feels recycled after only a few games. The crowd sounds polite but disinterested, jumping to its feet anytime you break through the line and return to a murmuring lull when you're brought down in a tackle. Rugby World Cup 2011 does a good job of emulating the ebb and flow of the pace of the sport, slowing down the feed to regroup and kicking for touch, but the tactical elements are limited. 4 set plays can be mapped to the right analog stick from a total of 8, but even veterans will struggle with which ones to use and when, since their only explanation is complicated animated diagrams in the menus. Multiplayer is the most enjoyable way to play Rugby World Cup 2011. The game supports 4 players locally, and online play is as functional as the single-player game, and while it's still early days for the game's community, it was a struggle to find matches online. If you can find one, games run well with minimal lag. Rugby World Cup 2011 feels like a game rushed out the door to cash in on the popularity of its real-world namesake event. Broken AI and a limited number of single-player modes make this an irritating and short-lived affair with little replay value. While you can have some fun in local and online multiplayer, there are concerns about long-term potential for finding online competition. This is a poor game that's hard to justify to even the most ardent of football fans willing to overlook its numerous flaws.
Well, thanks very much for being with us. Glad to have your company, and we'll see you next time.
Bye for now.